The sound on for this. There's no videos for it. Okay, well, we got a dev insight to look at now. Dev insight, weapons, artifacts, and focusing preview. Before we dig in, we want to take a moment to thank you. Seeing your reactions has been really moving to us. Frankly, we wouldn't be here without you, and the way you continue to show up for this world means more than we can fully put into words. Every memory and every moment you've shared with us over the years has fueled the future. Every ounce of our June update is for you, and we hope you feel it has continued to read through our insight articles and upcoming tweets. Let's let alone you when you're playing the update with us on June 9th. Yeah, it's a bit sappy and sentimental, but that's how we're feeling while reading all our stories over the last week. We hope to keep building worlds to inspire friendships for years to come, and truly couldn't do it without you and your voices. Again, thank you for being here and for sticking with us. Okay, let's get going with this. Okay, all right, let's get to the good. Dev Insight 2 starts now. Greetings, Guardians. We are here today to share the many balance changes and updates that the Destiny 2 dev team has been working on for the moment of triumph. Triumph update coming June 9th. It's a long article, so here's a list of the main topics you'll find in it. The new weapon tier upgrading system, tier upgrading for crafted weapons, buffs to many exotics like Anarchy, the Lament, and Vex Mythic class, including new catalyst and improvements for previous ones. Bal- Balance updates to most legendary weapon types, including all and overall buff to primary weapon damage in PvE, target buff to most special weapons for PvE, many legendary perks, fixes and buffs, a preview of the very customizable Artifact 2.0, including new ways to counter champions, saving your choices in loadouts, updates to vendors, weapon focusing, and gear tune. Okay, that's definitely a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna scroll down real quick and look at. That's definitely a lot of stuff. Okay, let's just go back up here. Okay, well, start with introducing weapon tier upgrades. Hi there, Guardians. This is the Sandbox team here to talk about weapon tier upgrading, a new system released with Moment of Triumph that will allow players to upgrade their gear, weapon, weapons gear tier for a cost to assess additional enhanced perks and even the gear tier 5 cosmetics. We want players to still feel as though lower tier drops can have value, especially if you spike into the exact role you want, with a want for higher tier gear to have an easier time getting that perfect role due to multi perks. All weapons integrated into the tiering system will be eligible to undergo tier upgrading, including those that have already dropped and are resting within your vault. In the weapon inspection screen, there will be a new weapon mod socket where you can apply a mod that for a cost that will upgrade your weapon to the next application a capable gear tier. While these new upgrading paths allow a player to unlock all of the enhanced perks benefits of Tier 5 gear as well as assess the unique Tier 5 cosmetics, it cannot add perks to the column of your weapon, meaning if you haven't quite found your god roll or your prefer a weapon with additional options in in its column, you may still want to chase multi-perk drops. To add a bit more value to gear tier 3 in a lieu of it being mainly about unlocking multi-perk today, we've shifted the unlock of enhanced mod to this gear tier for all weapons. Below is an example of the mod players will see at gear tier 1 that upon application by the player for a cost will upgrade their left and right traits to enhance traits. Okay, so it looks like it'll cost Glimmer, Enhanced Prisms, and Alloy. Okay. The final upgrade from Tier 4 to 5 will therefore have unlocked all enhanced perks, enhanced mods, enhanced barrels slash mags, the Masterwork stat boost when fully masterworked, and the combat flare slash ornament combo. Okay, that definitely seems nice. Exotic Weapon Catalyst. With Moment of Triumph being the final release for Destiny 2, we didn't want to leave any exotics behind with it came to Catalyst. We all handpicked existing legendary perks that thematically tied into each exotic weapon's story or strength. We want to keep most of these a nice surprise for you once the update hits. But here is a sneak preview of a handful of these. Chaperone, Triple Tap, Parasite, Envious Arsenal, Terrabath, Envious Assassin. Additionally, we also added perks to all of the oldest catalysts that only gave stat boosts to help bring them up into the same tier as more recent weapons. Here are two examples. Crimson to the Pain, Merciless Heal Clip. In total, we have added 25 catalysts to weapons that did not already have one already. 9 perks added to existing catalysts that only had weapon stats as a bonus. Okay, so we can see right here, the Chaperone catalyst. I'm not going to read all this because we don't know. Defeat targets using this weapon to unlock. Well, we already know that. Rapid landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine. Okay. Parasite, which was always a fan favorite for, I think, it was a raid. It's the Beyond Light raid, I think. I don't remember exactly. Dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this weapon refills it from reserves. Okay. Therefore, I think this is a raid. Yeah, this is a raid one. Maybe we get it free with Moment of Triumph in the Pantheon. We don't know. I'm making sure YouTube is still running fine. It looks like it's okay. Okay. Overfilling the magazine based on the number of rapid kills before reloading. Okay. We hope these help breathe some life into some new options in your arsenal. Enhanced weapon crafting. With Moment of Triumph's update adding new armor set bonuses to earn in our raid and destination content, we want those weapons to feel relevant again, but not necessarily ask players to regrind them under gear tiering. We know, we sorry. We know players have already put forth a lot of effort to unlocking patterns throughout the game, so we want to treat them with some upgrades while giving players additional reasons to finish up their patterns if they haven't yet. As we investigate options, we concluded that we could update all crafted weapons to the power of gear tiering, but through a slightly different method involving the crafting table. Upon logging in, all legendary crafted weapons that exist will immediately be eligible for a version of gear tiering upgrading, and newly crafted legendary weapons can be taken on the same upgraded journey. In the inspection screen of a crafted weapon, navigating to the weapon level boost icon, there will be a new mod that will allow you to also improve the tier of the weapon upon reaching specific weapon level. Oh, so it'll be like right next. So I guess if you go to here, it'd be right here. Okay. On a crafted weapon, gear tier will act a bit differently than other weapons, as it won't immediately provide the gear tiering benefits. At gear tier 3, players will unlock enhanced weapon mods, and at gear tier 5, it will unlock cosmetic just like any other weapon in the gear tiering system. However, for all other tiers, it will correspond with the unlocking of enhanced components at the crafting table. Do this real quick. When you reach weapon level 11, you can upgrade to gear tier 2. I'm just going to say tier 2 for now on if it says. And just like with a fresh tiered phone, shut up. Tiered weapon drop. Someone speaking a different. What? I don't even. I'm in the middle trying to read this. Now I gotta open Twitch just to figure this out, bro. I don't even know who you are. Oh, well, that's nice. You're suspicious. Bye. Someone who's already suspicious. Now back to reading. Where was I? Yeah. You'll gain access to enhanced left and right column traits. At weapon level 25, you can upgrade to tier 4 and add enhanced components like barrels or magazines. At level 30, you'll upgrade to tier 5 and can add enhanced origin traits. Origins will behave a bit differently than most perks in the crafting table as well. The menu will showcase all available origin traits, and the selection uh, of any enhanced perks to insert will reflect in the entire column being enhanced upon selected reshape. The same is true vice versa. If you wish to return to base traits, select any of the base trait for the origin column will still allow the other options to be available after reshaping. It kind of looks lighter, or it's because of the like purple. Okay. Because of the sandbox that evolved and changed since some of the. I'm getting tired. I need to find something that can auto read this for me. Translate to nothing. Because of the sandbox has evolved and changed since some of these destinations and raid weapons entered crafting, we've also updated them to have some additional new trait options. Two new trait per column. Two new traits per column. Clever Eye will note that Supercharged Magazine and Jolt Feedback have been added to Oversoul Edict above. Other non-raid / destination crafted weapons won't have new perks, but they are receiving enhanced origin traits for the first time, and we did revisit a few of those underperforming origin origin origins, including Kedrush, which now activates on a slide and provides a small boost in damage against hive opponents. We also haven't forgotten about Raid Adept weapons, and they will gain all the same benefits. These weapons will still gain additional traits based on the number of patterns collected from their non-adept counterparts, and are eligible to swap out their components like barrels / mags to at the crafting relic. There They'll also continue to upgrade their trades via the original enhancement feature. With Monument of Triumph, however, these raid of deaths will gain access to the tier upgrade mod like crafted weapons and can visit the relic to upgrade to enhance components and or enhance origins. These weapons will also still retain a bit of extra stats boost on the top of their non-adept counterparts and their unique adept shader to the to add a bit of priest something for those who've gone through the challenge of acquiring them. Weapon sandbox updates. Ammo system changes. The ammo system has received buffs to underperformance, nerf to outliers, and several bug fixes and quality of life improvements. General. We have modified the ammo system so that if an enemy is floating above a pit, they will not drop any ammo bricks when defeated, if even if it fills the meter. You will continue to gain meter progress, but kill on an enemy that is not above the pit will spawn the owed ammo brick instead. Special ammo weapons. We took a baseline swing to make double specials slightly less viable for ad clear. Outside of the rule, this charge is generally offset by the damage buffs previous given to non-rocket pulse special ammo weapons. So while it may require one more kill to earn a brick, it may also require less shots to kill targets, reducing the amount of meter progress special ammo weapons gained from defeating against mirror enemies by 17% at 100 ammo gen stat. Linear fusion rifles. Both special ammo and heavy ammo precision linear fusion rifles felt like they were not getting enough ammo per brick, so we have increased the amount of each. Heavy ammo precision no linear fusion rifles. Based base increased from 3 to 5, enhanced increased from 4 to 6. Special ammo precision linear fusion rifles. Base increased from 3 to 5. Enhanced increased from 6 to 10. Buried Bloodline. Currently an issue where Buried Bloodline will not correctly get enhanced ammo from enhanced ammo bricks. Choir of One. Choir of One is simply too free in terms of ammo both in isolation and in double special builds. It's one of the only special weapons that did not follow the standard rules for ammo brick value. These changes make this weapon follow those rules. Base reduced from 45 to 35, enhanced reduced from 90 to 70. Rocket pulse rocket pulse rifles. A bug where rocket pulse A bug was causing rocket pulse to have double the ammo when used with another special ammo weapon. For example, running two rocket pulse at the same time was entirely viable because they both got full ammo brick amounts instead of half. This has the effect of reducing the challenge of in-game content and validating other special weapons. Fixed an issue that was sometimes causing rocket pulse to earn two shots per base brick. Fixed an issue where Fias Internal was not currently having its ammo brick increased by scavenger mods. Fixed an issue where legendary rocket pulse were not correctly having their ammo per brick split when used with a second special weapon. I did not know that. I didn't know that. Okay. Only in the Crucible. Some Crucibles non-primary weapon use. Reduce the points gained from special ammo and heavy ammo kills and assist and super kills by 33%. Reduce glaive melee gain by 20%. Adaptive burst LFRs. linear fusion rifles. Get too much ammo from heavy crates from for how potent they are compared to other options. Reduce adapt. No, okay. Well, they reduced it from 5 to 3. Rapid fire machine guns felt like they weren't getting enough ammo from crates, so we have increased this value. They have increased it from maximum from 45 to a maximum of 62 based on the magazine size. Other LMGs ca- remain capped at 22. Bitter ends ammo from crates has been reduced to fit with this scale. Oh, he's far down. Cat, what are you doing? Nothing. Okay. You're okay. Exotic weapon tuning. With Momo to Triumph, we also have a wi- wide assortment of exotic weapon adjustments for you to enjoy. Have a look at we have. What we changed here. The Jade Rabbit. The Jade Rabbit ha, has long been a choice pick for PvP on specific builds and specific maps, but has since little play elsewhere. We've made some rather significant adjustments to help its gameplay feel a bit less clunky and give it some more life and PvE activities. Increase the magazine size from 10 to 15, removes in moment, adding shoot to loot and firefly uh, as the two traits. Fate of all fools, increase the maximum stack cap to 15. In addition to chaining precision hits, precision kills can now add a stack. Gain a stack now refills the magazine and increase stability. Stacks will no longer be completely removed when you reload. Dealing direct body shot damage will still remove one stack. Scale from damage uh, a Firefly when it is active. A dealing slash damage will not remove a stack of the perk catalyst. Catalyst. In addition to adding stability, special reloading will consume all stacks of the Fate of All Fools and grant a singular micro missile round, which deals bonus damage based on the number of stacks consumed. Okay. Vex Mythoclast. As the sandbox evolves, Vex Mythoclast felt like it lagged behind other raid weapons in terms of PvE content. We wanted to give the linear fusion shot something extra to help them feel worth the kill requirement to charge them. And we updated the intrinsic and catalyst to help make acquiring those kills a little easier. Timeless Timeless Mythoclast Intrinsic now has what it comparably a more potent version of rewind rounds, while in full auto mode. Temporal unlimited limiter trait. Precision kills with linear fusion rifle shot now trigger an ignition. After leaving linear fusion rifle mode, the magazine is now fully reloaded. The HUD buff and magazine display has been tweaked to show the extra amount of linear fusion shots remaining. This is a pure visual change. Functionally remains the same. Um, Calculated balance, the catalyst. Sustained damage can now also activate the catalyst in addition to kills. Add a HUD buff. Okay. Ooh, Touch of Malice. This is the one I still need to get. Touch of Malice. Despite multiple previous changes, Touch of Malice has not lived up to its D1 glory days. We made a few changes baseline to its catalyst that will help to build into a potent exotic primary weapon, though skilled play and build crafting. Increase final round bonus damage by 10%. Set it up so that special reload can be made faster by buffing reload speed. Replacing rapid hit in the catalyst with precision instrument Gain increased stability and reload speed with each stack of Charge Up Blight. The last word, much like many of the Vex of our text weapons, the last word sits on a rager edge between being extremely potent in a single input type or feeling, though, to get value out of. This update will make it feel more viable on MNK mouse and keyboard without totally tipping those power skills. Increased um, stability on MNK by 10%. Increased aim assist when hip fire on MNK by 10%. Mida multi-tool. In PvE content, we want Mida multi-tool to feel further lean into build and modifications over the course of the activity. While we're happy while we're happy with how this landed, we want to lower how many kills and require to reach that final modification. We also adjusted the catalyst by a small amount to give it more utility in more situations. Lower the PvE combat kill requirement from 10 kills per modification, 15 with micro tool, to 7 kills per modification, 10 with micro tool. This lowers the total kill requirement from 40, 60 to 72, 40, 40 to 70. I'm just going to say that. To acquire all modifications, the catalyst improves radar resolution now remains active for a few seconds with the when you stow multi-tool. Instead of immediately deactivating, multi-tool still needs to be in your hands for the catalyst to be active. Heirloom. What was heirloom? I don't remember. Heirloom can be a potent option if you opt into its particular flavor of playstyle on its initial release, but it both did not feel worth the effort and did not live up to players' expectations of being a dungeon exotic weapon. Oh, I think it's the Heresy one. We've made a number of adjustments here to help it flow a bit better, as well as hit even harder versus high priority targets. Increased charge rate by 20%, increased impact damage of charged shots by 20% in PvE only, reduced extra heat generated by charged shots by 7%, increased damage versus mini bosses and champion targets by 20%, increased damage versus bosses by 10%, add this incandescence perk to Catalyst. Terabot, I think that's the SMG, the raid SMG. It felt odd that Terabot did not reward you at all for defeating by defeats, so we I don't know what this word is. I'm just gonna skip it. That while also building more tie-ins to into the solar kit to let you get the ravenous beast mode more often, dealing damage to scored components grants increased ravenous beast progression by 33%, can generate full meter if all the mag hits a scorched scorched enemy, I guess. Kills greatly increased progression, 10% per kill. Anarchy. Once Finality's Argue was released, that might have been a raid. Anarchy felt like it no longer. Oh, sorry, God, weapon. It no longer had a place as a point defense trap system. So we are amping up its trap capability to be more competitive and versus Finality's Argue. Well, I don't know. Increased armed trap lifetime by 50% from 10 to 15 seconds. Increased trap damage versus combatants by 30%. double trap detonation damage versus combatants to better match the per tick damage of a trap. Replace moving targets with impromptu ammunition. Divinity. After all this time, we felt it was fair to bring Divinity back up at least a little bit so that the dedicated Divinity users in your group didn't feel like they were wielding a sluggish weapon and missed out on some damage. Increased damage of penis pen ants. I'm gonna just say that by 20%. Reduce the time time to active pin ants from 4 to 3 seconds. Reduce shot to activate the cage from 14 to 10. Winter bite. I have that. Winter bite is an extremely solid workhorse glaive, but it feels over, overly pushed to shoot the projectile while in CQC. Required self damage of the projectile by 66%. Edge of action, currents, and intent. The class glaive should feel like the apex power for an exotic version of a legendary glaive. So we are upping their charge rates of the special shot when you are fully engaged in the glaive loop. Rev up those doomsticks. Glaive projectiles now grant double progress toward special shot. Hierarchy of needs. Do I have that? Ain't that the bow? I think that is the bow. I would take it. We updated the hierarchy of needs to make its seekers more interactive and built friendly, helping them better flow your precision shots through the guidance ring. Apply scorched for build crafting synergy and feel more reliable at mid range thanks to improved hipfire accuracy. Seekers now apply plus 15, plus 5 with Ember of Ashes, Scorch to hit enemies. Adding hidden tracking for Seekers to that guides them to targets recently hit by precision damage. Adding increased hipfire accuracy to the list of benefits provided by the Catalyst. Sunshot and Graviton Lance. I wonder what they need. Yeah. Both Sunshot and Graviton Lance have been very easy to use while also having a high impact and gameplay for a loop time now and then tend to crowd out many similar options in the sandbox. We've made a few changes to both to make them a less bit able to wipe entire encounters with one kill, while retaining their power on clumped groups, rebalancing the damage of the explosion to deal more damage up close and less damage further away. Outbreak Perfected. There's a ton of love for Outbreak, especially with it being a primary weapon that can hang with our special and heavies in game. In Moment of Triumph, though, we are buffing our primaries across the board, and because of that, there was a need to reduce the delta between our strong primaries and Outbreak. Reduce damage bonus to maximum nanites stacked from 4.5 to 4. Arbalist, haven't heard that one in a while. With anti-champ rolling out across all weapons in the game, Arbalist will struggle more than ever for us during testing. So we are spot tuning the damage up a fair bit. Increase damage versus champions by 33%. Warcliffe Coil. Don't think I've heard that one. Warcliffe, Warcliffe Coil will be getting a couple bug fists and a sorely needed max ammo increase. Oh, is that the one exotic pistol from the one dungeon? Fixed a bug where firing Warcliffe Coil. No, it's not. the one I'm thinking of before. Would not grant bolt charge if the firing player was too far off the ground. Mechanized autoloading now works while the weapon is stowed. Increase maximum ammo from 5 to 8. The Lament. The game has changed a lot since Lament received its last nerf. To account for that, we are reverting most of that last change to help it keep pace as the potent single target option, reverting the previous nerfs to the weapon by -70% or -70%. Returning most of the final combo hits, damage, and self healing to previous change reduced. Truth. Truth has. Hold on, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Truth has long struggled to have any kind of strong identity in Destiny 2. We have found fond memories of while tracking shots with it from Destiny 1, but the weapon struggles to keep up in today's sandbox. We've made some changes to that let it lean into the its 3 in the mag and give it a splashy secondary effect if you land all your rockets. Now returns 1 ammo to reserves and buffs the next magazine when all rounds in the magazine hit a target. When targeted, the next magazine gains dramatically increased rate of fire, stability, tracking strength, and cluster combo bombs. Thunderlord, we're making a small adjustment to Thunderlord to put it more in line with other similar boss DPS options, reducing ammo refunds by the lightning strikes from 7 to 5 at base. Whirlwind Ovation. Whirl- Whirling needs a little help to stay competitive with weapons that aren't rocket pulses. This that might have been the pistol. This update should help it feel snappy with an optimized damage rotation with a variety of weapon types. Increase increase the amount of anticipated gain per point of damage by just over 11%. Prometheus Lens got its scorch effect in a very different Destiny 2 sandbox, so we're giving it a bit of love to be able to keep up against other similar weapons. Increased scorch stacks applied per target up to 20%, up to 20 plus 10 with Ember of Ashes from 10 plus Ember plus what? 10 plus 10 Ember Ashes. I don't know. Centrifuge Fuge's sprint reload effect felt just a touch too slow to use as the main way to reload the weapon. So we're making that a bit easier to rely on and subsequently keep its perk at full potency. Increase the amount of magazine refilled per target to 10% from 4%. Slayer's Fang. Ooh, that's shotgun, I think. Slayer's Fang was a potent option when it first released, but has since fallen behind some more versatile options. We're giving it a few changes that allow you to be a bit more liberal with its usage, as well as bring back a bit of an effect it used to have to its release. Increase magazine size by 2. Increase reserve ammo by 10. Now slowly reloads itself while its buff is active. Xenophage. Once a terror of Gambit and PvE alike, Xenophage definitely has a hard time in today's sandbox. We're giving it a bit more total ammo to help it keep up with similar options and be a bit less strict on its economy. Increase reserves by ammo by 10%. Legendary Sandbox tuning. Primary ammo weapons have struggled to keep up against combatants, especially in harder activities. Implemented we've implemented some broad changes to help them feel better to use. Legendary weapon primary legendary weapon ammo primaries. Increase damage versus minor combatants by 30%. Exotic primary weapons. Increase bonus damage versus minor combatants from 30% to 40%. Non blaster primary weapons. Increase damage versus major combatants by 15%. Blaster primary weapons increase bonus damage versus major combatants from 15% to 20%. Some special ammo weapons have dominated the sandbox while others have felt left behind. We are making a targeted buff to all the left behind special ammo weapons to balance them out and make more archetypes viable to use in PvE. Special ammo weapons increase damage versus major combatants by 20%, excluding sniper rifles, rocket pulses, rocket sidearms, swords, and Choir of One. Specifically, Choir of One. On top of the above change, these specific primary ammo archetypes got some additional balance tuning. Auto rifles, high impact, moved RPM from 460 to 400, no, 360 to 400. Reduced ADS damage fall off scale from 1.7 to 1.6. Reduced base damage from 24 to 22. This includes Vex Method class and Cerberus regime with dual speed receivers, but excluding Cerberus plus one, or Cerberus, and Sweet Business in its non-spawn up state. That another bot just showed up. I don't care. You're literally a bot. Uh, Adaptive. Increase base damage from 15 to 15.5. Increase critical hit damage from 26.25 to 27.1. Pulse rifle. Lightweight. Reduce base damage from 19.7 to 18.8. Reduce critical hit damage from 31.5 to 30.1. Legacy frames. Legacy frame. Since these weapons inherit the damage change from lightweight pulse rifles, we are reverting the nerf to their ADS damage fall off scaler. Increased ADS damage fallout scaler from 1.6 back to 1.7. High impact, reverting previous nerfs to ADS damage fall off. Increase it from 1.7 back to 1.6 back to 1.7. Scout rifles, rapid fire, reducing base damage from 28 to 27.3, reducing critical hit damage from 54.6 to 53.25. Hand cannon aggression, reduced base damage from 49 to 48.7, reduced critical hit damage from 90 to 90.65 to 90.1. Bows, increased damage versus major combatants by an additional 20%, increased damage versus major combatants by an additional 40%. Also, on top of the above changes, many special ammo weapon archetypes also got some buffs along with some nerfs to other particular archetypes that won't be too surprising to see. Rocket sidearms increase projectile explosion radius by 33%. Fusion rifles, rapid hit, increase PvE damage scalar by 7%. Adaptive, increase PvE damage scalar by 10%. Precision, increased PvE damage scalar by 20%. Impact, increased PvE damage scalar by 50%. Shotguns, aggression, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Improve the base stats of Fellwinter's Lie. Lightweight, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Precision, increased PvE damage scalar by 20%. Slug shotguns, rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar from 10%. Point pinpoint, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Heavy burst, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Snipers, aggression, increased PvE damage scalar by 15%. Adaptive, increase PvE damage scalar by 10%. Glaive, rapid fire, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Trace rifles, increased damage versus minor combatants by an additional 20%. Increased damage versus major combatants by an additional 20%. Exotic trace rifles, increased bonus damage versus combatants, minor combatants from 30% to 40%. Rocket pulses, reduce ammo regeneration stat of a legendary micro missile pulse rifle by 15. Decreased PvE damage by 10%. Decreased damage versus bosses by 25%. This is on top of the above 10%, reducing projectile explosion radius by 25%, reducing super regeneration by 25% for roaming and 33% from standard supers. Finally, heavy ammo weapons got some addition additions to make them more effective against bosses and champions, along with some targeted ammo tuning. Heavy grenade launchers increase damage versus bosses and champs by 5%. Rocket launchers increase damage versus bosses and champs by 5%. Crossbows increase damage versus bosses and champs by 10%. Linear fusion rifles increase the damage of all LFRs versus boss and champs by 10%. Precision, increased PvE damage scalar by 10%. Increased ammo reserves by minus 30%, excluding sleeper stimulant. Machine guns, increase bitter ends reserve ammo. Swords, decrease cost of vortex frame heavy attacks from 6 to 4 ammo to match other heavy swords. Legendary perks. Oh my god, I'm not even complete. Legendary perk changes. In addition to the legendary weapon archetype tuning, we've also made some changes to legendary weapon perks. A few older damage perks felt like they were lagging behind, so we've buffed these perks in order to make them more competitive choices compared with more modern perks. Focus Fury, damage bonus increased from 20% to 25%. Hits require to activate decrease from 50% of a magazine to 35% of the magazine. Full Quartz, maximum explosion damage bonus increased from 25% to 35%. Lasting Impression, explosion damage bonus increased from 25% to 35%. Reserve Reservoir Burst, damage bonus increased from 25%, 27.5 enhance to 30%, 33% enhance. Gunshot Straight, reduce the aim assist penalty by 20% on the base perks and 25% on the enhanced perks. Fixed an issue where these perks did not work on bitter ends. Adigo reduced the damage bonus on hand cannons from 30% to 27%. Increased the damage bonus of shotguns and bows from 20% to 30%. The following perks receive some quality of life tuning to make them easier to activate on their own with other build crafting elements. Collective Action, Collective Huges, Cooling Bubbles, Element Charge, and Facet of Honor. Now all these now all share the same Tangle activator. Destroy a tangle either by shooting it or upon impact after throwing it. Previously, this activation differed depending on the perk and would either activate when you shoot a tangle, picked up a tangle, throwing a tangle, or a combination of these, despite sharing the same terminology in their strings. In addition to this activator, collective action and collective pugilages also grant additional time to their duration upon throwing a tangle. These unique behavior is called out in their description. Artifact element orbs are now officially considered elements pickups for the sake of these perks and grant the same benefits as tangles. As such, we fixed an issue where the artifact arc orb would give the dark transcendence energy with facet of honor. Now give light transcendent energy. Collective action: Fire Spikes, Void Breach, 8 seconds. Ionic Trace, Stasis Shards, 4 seconds. Tangle Detonation, 4 seconds. Tangle Throw, 4 seconds. Instead of a flat 7-second elemental pickup, now provides off differing amounts of time to the perk duration. Depending on how easy they are to create, these values match collective pugilism. To compensate for the lower duration gained from some elemental pickups, the damage bonus against PvE combatants has now increased from 20% to 30%. The damage bonus against players remained at 10%. The each ben- the enhanced benefits no longer provide more time per pickup, but instead increase the damage bonus to 33% against PvE combatants and against 30 no and 11% against players. Increase max time from 12 to 16%. Also, our damage timer is paused on weapon stowed and resumed on weapon equipped. Desperado. In addition to its current activator of reloading after a precision kill, Desperado can now activate when reloading after 3 rapid kills. Frenzy. Fixed an issue where the enhanced version of Frenzy was not getting an extended duration when refreshed compared to standard Frenzy. Also fixed an issue where Frenzy being inactive could prevent the Crucible Origin trait from activating. Jolting feedback. Reduce shots to activate the perk by -1 to 2 for scout rifles and hand cannons. Again, in, in Core's HUD buff now displaying a timer. Envy's Assassin fixed an issue where the perk was not working on some single shot weapons. Cascade Point. Since we removed the ready HUD buff when the weapon is stowed, we have simplified the activation criteria for dealing precision damage with other weapons. Auto rifles, pulse rifles, SMGs, trace rifles, sidearms, LMGs, 6 critical hits. Hand cannons, scout rifles, 4 critical hits. Bows, LFRs, glaive projectiles, shotguns, snipers, 2 critical hits. Attrition orbs now activates in 4 hits on waveframe grenade launchers down to 10. Now activates in 3 hits on rocket launchers down to 6. Continuing Cascade, the number of rapid final blows needed for max benefits has been reduced from 15, 12 in enhanced to 10, 10 if enhanced. Stat benefits are now maxed out when the element explosion grants instead of scaling with up to 20 rapid hit final blows. Full choke. Pellet spread is now reduced from 5% instead of 3.25%. Shot packed intrinsics now reduce pellet spread by 2.5% when ADS. Finally, some origin trait weaknesses were addressed to make them feel more impactful. Enhanced oh, God, this is getting tired. Advanced Reflection, Dreaming City Origin trait, now effect, plus 5% damage bonus while active, increased bonus handling from plus 30 to plus plus 35, gun and run, gambit origin trait. Reworked effect, defeating targets that build stacks of gun and run for a short duration. Sprinting for a short time consumes a stack to particularly reload the weapon's magazine from reserves. On bows, this briefly improves draw speed. Nanotech trace missiles, Neomuna destination origin trait, reduce the number of hits needed for Basso Orstino to activate nanotech trace missiles on by roughly one. Our artifacts and anti-champion. Artifact 2.0. With Monument of Triumph, we are reworking the artifact system items in multiple ways to better align them with a modern Destiny 2 and setting it up with withstand the test of time. This means streamlining the mod selection progress, removing annoyance like the refunding dance, disabil- this disabling the artifact in competitive and trial modes, and finally working in loadouts. Oh, that's nice. Oh, they streamlined the loadout look good too. I think they added more. Yeah, they did add more because we used to only have like this much. I say, yeah, I think they added more. What this means is that we have trimmed the bloat on artifacts. Gone are the days of dedicated anti-champion columns and needing to refund mods to select one in earlier columns. This progress has been simplified into three buckets that functionally perform just like the columns did before, but in a way that uses the visual language on our modern game and works in a more intuitive way. Now, with when you want to switch out a mod in Column 4, you can just do that and substitute it out when it for whatever fits instead of needing to clear out later columns to be allowed to respec earlier ones. On the top of this, we have built an anti-cheat capable directly into your gun, so you no longer must worry about your favorite gun not getting anti-cheat, offering it a season, but more on that in the moment. Okay. Along alongside all these updates, also come six new mods: defragmented and deciphered from the data disk and into your hand. Tier 1 Fierce Proximic Finisher Final Blows grant grenade and melee energy. Tier 2 Blinding Jolts Final Blows on jolted combatants blinds nearby combatants. Tier 3 Taser Day Arc powered melee hits jolt combatants and deal further damage for a short duration. Tier 1 Ready Remedy Machine Gun Rapid Final Blows heal you. Tier 2 Precision Equity Final Blow Precision Final Blows build progress toward a large orb of power that also grants bonus weapon damage on pickup. Higher ranked targets grant more progress. Tier 3 Sticker Shock Arc Flux, Magnetic, and Fusion Grenades deal more damage when attached to combatants. On Final Blow, they release several micro missiles that seek nearby combatants. But wait, there's more. For Eagle Eye readiers, you might have noticed that we kept referring to artifacts in the plural, and it is for a good reason. Artifacts that for the past 6 years have served to shift around the metas seasons over seasons, encouraging you to try new things by giving some borrowed power to this model doesn't really work without seasons. So we are breaking the bank and not just offering one artifact, but we're whopping 7 artifacts pulled from the season. So every season artifact from the past is coming back. Then my arc build will probably be able to be refixed then. These selections were all made to cover as many favorite weapons, elements, and perks as possible, and we believe will give you a trove of builds crafting opportunities for years to come. They won't be coming back preferably identically, though. In the past 6 years, the artifacts have shifted quite a bit, from the days of glimmer mods to anti-champion abilities, taking up a large sway of the slots in the 7 rows structure, and finally the boot to boost. We took a long look at each artifact and did not only a rebalance balance pass to make sure you could live on it perpetually looking at your flashover, but also now we could integrate the best of all versions of the artifacts to be available in a single build crafting ecosystem. We look forward to seeing what y'all build and how you combine these with incredible deep pool of new set bonuses and weapons. Anti-cheat 2.0. We are removing the first 2 columns of artifacts of each artifact. We need to find a new home for our anti-champion counter effects. Given the nature of these final release, we have decided to roll access these effects into the intrinsic perk of every weapon in the game. Yes, every weapon, even exotics. We will. We also made the decision to remove any activation criteria to all these effects, no matter which you are using. Simply firing the weapon will apply the associated effect immediately, assuming you land your shot. Here is the list of weapon intrinsics frames you got. Weapon types: aggression, high impact, precision, adaptive, lightweight, rapid fire. Effects: unstoppable, unstoppable, barrier, barrier, overload, overload. This covers most of the weapons in the game. Here are what the more niche intrinsic frames receive. Weapon archetypes: support, AR, overload, adaptive burst, LFR, barrier, area denial, breach, GL, overload, double fire, breach, GL, unstoppable, micro missile, breach, GL, unstoppable, wave, breach, GL, unstoppable, compressive wave, drum, GL, unstoppable, heavy burst, HC, unstoppable, spread shot, HC, overload, aggressive burst, SMG, unstoppable, aggressive burst, pulse, unstoppable, heavy burst, pulse, unstoppable, legacy, PR dash FF frame, pulse, barrier, rocket assisted pulse, unstoppable, rocket assisted sidearm, unstoppable, disruption, sniper rifle, barrier, caster, sword, barrier, vortex, sword, overload, wave, sword, unstoppable, dynamic key weapons, various, overload, balanced heat weapons, various, overload. Side weapons each got the effect that most reflected how the exotic itself behaves. Here are a few intrinsic examples, but we'll let you know all discovered the rest one will let us discover the rest that are on release. Is Inagi's Barrier, Trinity Goal Overload, Xenophase Unstoppable, Parasite Barrier, Yo-In Unstoppable. Ugh. And here's the weapons again. No, where do these show up then? Oh, it shows up right there. Yeah. That's all for us here on the artifacts. The sandbox is going to be shifted drastically in Moment of Triumph, and we look forward to seeing the powerful builds y'all put together using both old and new pieces of our Guardian's Sword legacy. Vendor updates. With the release, many of our favorite vendors across the tower are getting an update. Reputation rank reward tracks also return for the to many of the vendors: Shax, Zavala, Saint 14, Zur, Banshee, 44, and even our old pal Drifter. We're also expanding their focus options significantly, as well as some other vendor specific updates that we'll touch on below. Tiered focus tier gear. Focusing the tiered gear and is now available on many vendors across the tower. This includes newly added gear as well as gear from across the last several releases. For example, the Edge of Fate, Ashen of Iron, and Renegades. Fo- Weapons will not be focusable at tier 3 and tier 4 depending on the player's power level. With the addition of upgrading weapons, you can take any rules you get from focusing and upgrading them to tier 5. While activities will remain the best and most consistent source of natural tier 5 weapons. However, because armor is not upgradable, focusable armor will go up to tier 5. Here's the gear focusing will Here's how gear focusing will work for vendors. General weapons will be focusable at tier 3 or tier 4. Is tier 3 300 to 399 power, tier 4 400 plus power. Tiered weapons may be upgraded to tier 5. Armor will be focusable on power levels, of course, the same for tier 3 to 4, but tier 5 is 520 plus. Ada, Ada, Ada up, Ada 1. Updated Ada 1 shader inventory. Adding additional shaders. Your one shader pack. Really? I guess. 4 unreleased shaders: Alchemy Scorch, Bone Meal Alone, Brine Glow, Charred Plumage. Increased number of available shaders per week from 3 to 6. Still randomly rotated through every shader each week. Updating Ada 1's legacy armor to no longer be on rotation. Expanded selection to all armor for transmog purposes. Updated threaded bounty wrestle. No longer reset seasonally. Instead, players will earn one additional threader bounty per class per week. New bounties available each week at weekly reset. Maximum number of available threader bounties per class and 10. Drifter. Gambit Reputation reward track has been restored. Updating Gambit Focus Gear Edition. Tiered focusing will utilize Gambit engrams, now including focused for all tiered Gambit gear, including new Gambit weapons and armor. Ooh, we're getting new armor. Sweet. Banshee 44. Gunsmith Reputation reward track return track has been restored. Dismantling weapons and armor gives Gunsmith reputation again. Updating Gunsmith focus, now including shared pools, weapon from previous releases, including tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ash of Iron, and Renegades. Hawthorne. Updated clan engrams to give tiered gear. Saint 14. Trials of Osiris reputation reward track has been restored using trial focus, now including focusing all tiered trials gear. In addition, including tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ash of Iron, and Renegades. Focusing will utilize trials engrams. Saladin, only available during Iron Banner. Updated now. Iron Banner focusing, now including focusing for all tiered Iron Banner gear. Gear additions, including tiered gear from the Edge of Fate, Ashen Iron, and Renegades. Focusing will utilize Iron Banner ciphers obtained through the Iron Banner match completion. Iron Banner will maintain event card and will not see its reputation rank reward track restored. Shaxx Crucible reputation rank reward track has been restored. Updated Crucible focusing, now including focusing for all tiered Crucible and competitive Crucible gear. In addition, including tier gear from Edge of Fate, Ash of Fire, and Renegades, tiered focusing will utilize Crucible ciphers. Completing Crucible gear, competing Crucible gear will require Crucible ciphers, which can be obtained via competitive Crucible Zur. Zur's reputation track has been restored. Purchase items from Zur grants reputation. Zur's inventory has been updated. New catalyst added to inventory. Tiered armor. Oh, that armor. Zavala, his track's been restored. Updating Vanguard focusing. Now including focusing for all tiered solo ops, fire ops, arena ops, and pinnacle ops gear. In addition, including tiered gear from Edge of Fate, Iron Shinar, and Renegades. Tiered focusing will utilize Vanguard immigrants. Pinnacle ops and arena ops gear will be Vanguard. Will require Vanguard. Ciphers will be which can be obtained via Pinnacle Ops and Arena Ops activities. Nightfall ciphers that players may have in their inventory will be automatically upgraded to Vanguard ciphers. Reward from Rewards from Call to Arms are available to pick up from Zavala for those who have earned but not yet received them. Update the rotation for weekly Vanguard arms rewards. Destination vendors upgraded gear to be distributed at tier 3. Attune anyway. Attunement now lives in your inventory, accessible anywhere at anywhere anytime. No longer will you have to go to a specific vendor to attune what you want to earn in that specific from that activity you are playing. With a huge amount of new and updated weapons in this release, we want to make it seamless for you and your fire team to have greater agency around farming for those god roles than ever before. Hanging out in orbit or waiting for friends during a break between SLR races, take some time to attune to your favorite weapons across various activity types. Attunement exists for the following activities: distortions, world drops, only ops, fire team ops, arena ops, pinnacle ops, crucible ops, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, Gambit, Onslaught, SLR. Which Onslaught, I'm glad they're bringing back in a way with the armor. Ooh, wait, is this like an upgraded? Ooh, nice. At any time, players be can be attuned to one weapon for each activity. For example, players can be attuned for Cry, Molotini, and Zolops, Nightshade, and Fire Team Ops, and Better Devils and Crucible Ops at the same time. Attuning to a weapon means you will have significantly higher drops chances that for that weapon from activity rewards and will be available of the for all the weapons in the activity loot pools for each of the including activity types. Attunement is available for all players with no cost to attune and unattuning, with no limits on changing the weapon that you are attuned to. We hope this system helps you find the perfect weapon for your arsenal. That's our devs. That's our dev site article about weapons, the artifacts, and new vendor and how vendors, attunements, and focusing will work when the moment of trial drops June 9th. We have more to share later today on our Twig coming in just 2 hours. Stay tuned to find out about what's changing in Crucible and reward what new rewards will be you can get in Pantheon and much more. That's a lot. Hold on, give me a second. That was a lot, bro. That was a lot of stuff. I'm gonna see if they released the thing already. No, they haven't. So it's not been out for 3 hours. It came out at 12, bro. So I guess I'll stream a bit later when it comes out. But yeah, that's about it for now. Sadly, I can't have my PNG tuber model there at all, even though I'm stuck with the white background. I do have some new ones made though. I'm not gonna show them though, not yet at least. But yeah, I guess that's it for now. Pretty much for the most part. I mean, for right now at least. So I'll see you all